It's going to be around IBCS. So I don't know if you guys have heard about IBCS. So today we have, or it's a methodology around how to display efficiently information and not to be lost in the information that you're going to get in a document. So today I've got two awesome speakers from Graphomate. I have Stephanie Schroeder. And hello, Stephanie. It's great to see you. And also I have the extremely well-known Lars Schubert from Graphomate. So
Hello.
it's a pleasure to see all of you today. We're going to have a lot of fun with you.
Whoa. I need this. So beam me up, Scotty. This visuals, no.
At least it was very direct. So there was no fussing on it. So it's very clear. So
it was perfect.
That's very good. So by the way, just before you go, okay, we still get some answers in. And I think, Chris, if you can, or just share me later on who's the winner of the quiz. So, well, guys, I pass it over to you for the next 30 to 40 minutes.
Thank you, Bruno.
Yeah, thanks, Bruno. And thanks for having us around. It's really nice to see everything about this event. And in the beginning, I was joining the SAP session. It was quite interesting with the new stuff coming out to Webby. So that's really good because in the live demonstration, I can come back to one of the points. So it's really nice. Yeah. So Lars, do you want to start with your introduction?
Yes. Hello all together. I'm more in the background today. I left everything important to Stephanie, which is great for me. Well, 2 words to my person. I'm Lars Schubert. I'm the founder of Graphomate. I founded this company 12 years ago, and now I'm the managing part. And I'm really happy to see Stephanie doing the presentation. And well, thanks for joining us here and happy to be here.
Then I'm going to move on. My name is Stephanie again. So yeah, I had my education in geography, and this is really special because I like to look at data, and when it's visualized beautifully, I really get the insights, and that's why I learn all the concepts, how to display data in a good way. And what I learn, I can apply everywhere. So that's why this topic is so really nice to talk about. And today, I want to talk about the standard, which is called IBCS, the International Business Communication Standards. And it's a way towards meaningful reporting with standardized visualizations. Long story short, we want to give you a short introduction about our company, where we come from, so you get a better idea what we are doing. Let's start. Yeah. Ben Snyderman put it in a nutshell. The purpose of visualization is insight, not pictures. With this mission in mind, we started the company a few years back, as Lars already told, and we were keen on the topic to display information in a good way, like Stephen Pugh, Edward Tufte, or like Ulrich Frichert suggested. And there's a connection to the IBCS, the International Communication Standard.
Probably you have heard about Stephen Pugh and Edward Tufte because these are the American, very famous guys, written lots of good books of visualization. Yeah, Bruno is, yes, you know them. And Rolf, he's the German guy. So perhaps you hear we are Germans, and Rolf also is very famous German, and we are doing lots of business here in Germany, especially in the DACH region. And yeah, well, it's the first time we do some stuff coming over the big sea. Well, and Rolf is the German guy. We will came back later on.
Yeah. And as you already noticed, we started our business in the SAP environment, and we wanted to offer the best-in-class visualization tools, not only for crystal reports, as you may know, but also for the newer BI front tools like Lumira Designer or SAC, the application designer, or also for Webby, as a lot of people around here use still. And there's a lot of coming up, but I will talk about it in a few minutes. Yeah, and we have a lot of clients who already trust in good visualization, which were displayed with our extensions. So here you get a small overview. I'm going to explain it in detail later on because it's quite a lot of stuff. But we have 4 components which you can use in all of the tools which are presented here. And as you can see, we don't rely on SAP heavily, but we also can use our tools in other BI tools. I guess some are familiar to you. Now that you got, yeah, Lars?
Just to say, which makes it possible to use exactly the same visualization in every BI tool. So this is quite easily to manage. And because I have heard lots of times that some charts look like this in this tool, and these charts looks completely different in other tools. With us, everything is exactly the same. Even the UI, the user interface we built is the same. Sorry, Stephanie, just to mention.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now you hopefully got an idea who we are, and we are interested in our audience today. If you use different BI tools to visualize the data, if you have any preferences, let us know which tools do you use to communicate your data. It would be quite interesting. What do you use? Maybe you can leave us a comment. Or plan to use, yeah. Because we see a big change coming up in the SAP environment.
So please feel free to answer in the chat box, in the comment box to that.
Great. Okay.
So we will collect the answers and get in touch with it later. And I will move on with the presentation. Just a short moment. Yeah. So now I need your attention back because you need to look very closely to this picture. You can see a checkerboard and we have 2 squares which have a letter A and B. And I want to know if the color of the square is the same. Is it the same gray color? Let me know. What do you think?
It looks different, isn't it?
It looks quite different, I would say.
But it's incredible. It's just a visual effect. It's the same color.
To me, it looks the same.
It is the same color. So it's quite interesting. Our human eye can't decide if it's the same color because the color, how we perceive it, it's like depending on the environment, it's displayed. So be careful when using color because depending where it's situated, it appears differently. So it's quite interesting what happens.
It's an extreme example, but I hope you get the idea. Less is more.
So, Bruno, do you have an idea which line connects to the upper line?
Well, I would tell you it's number 1, but if you're asking me that question, I would say it's number 2.
You're tricking us.
Yeah.
It is.
Give me the solution. It's really number 2, so it's quite interesting.
What?
No, it's
I'm sorry, number 1. You guessed right. Yeah. So, yeah, most people have problems to connect angles and say to find the right spot where it's sitting and also to choose the right angle. And to provide you more information about this, we have here small wedges, and you can't tell if they have the same area or do they represent the same data. So when you put it in squares or rectangles, it's so easy to see. Here we have line, and one spot we can see the difference. So this is quite interesting. And that's the reason why Graphomate prefers bar charts and not using pie charts.
Yeah, simple bar
But
charts.
who still wants to use pie charts? If you got lots of information, it's completely useless. You don't see anything.
Yeah, but there are certain examples and cases when it makes sense to use them. I think we have one in mind. Haven't we, Stephanie? Thank you,
Yeah.
Bruno. That was perfect.
But you know what's more worth than a pie chart? Yes, a 3D pie chart. So, as we already said, we have very big problems to count the angle and match the correct values with it. So, when you use on top 3D effects, there's no chance we can bring the right information across the data and deliver the insights. So that's quite interesting because Steve Jobs used this effect to display his shares or the shares of Apple. So it's quite interesting how the green part appears visually bigger than the upper part in purple, even though it's a bigger number.
It was probably their expected, you're right, it was probably the expected market share. So they thought, well, next step is we're going to eat the part on the top. And Stephanie, by the way, your mic, just make sure it doesn't move because it's...
I'm sorry. Yeah, thanks for the...
It's scratching a little bit. So.
Yeah. So, okay.
That was 2008. So Wim doesn't exist anymore. That's interesting, isn't it? Funny. It exists. I'm sorry. It exists. Sorry. It's not that wrong, but they make a totally different business now. They do. Yes.
So let's move on.
That's the example.
We offer an extension which is called Graphimate tables, and there we really like the pie charts because we use them in a specific way as a part to whole. This is meaning that you see at first point which part it's filling or not, and if there's something left like a budget, and so you can easily use it, and then you don't need to display everything, but you get a small overview, and therefore it's quite nice to have. So here is one pie chart we really like.
Even the Egyptian loved pies.
Okay, I hope you got the idea what we're talking about. So this is a result of a recent Google research called management dashboards. And even though we have the evidence that the human eye and perception is very limited and can be easily tricked, they're using still a lot of colors and nothing looks the same. It's hard to navigate. You don't know what you're looking at. And it's quite a lot of hard work for our brain to get the information out and make decisions upon those results. I think you're on the right side with me. Or do you have another opinion?
No. It's always amazing because when you receive all these documents, all these dashboards with similar financial information, they're very difficult. You waste a lot of time trying to understand it. And sometimes you wonder, wow, they look really nice, but they're just very, very difficult to read. And the funny thing is, reading some of the IBCS books is if you look at music, the way music is written, you can understand, anybody in the world can understand music because it's the same standard. It's been the same for forever, basically. So, and BI is probably the only place in the world where there is no standard in terms of how information is displayed.
Sometimes I think it's normally one say a picture is worth a thousand words, and I in my past when I worked in big companies, they sometimes they need 1,000 words to explain the charts they had. We look at the presentations. That's really strange. Yes, I agree.
It's very easy to provide a lot of information, but it's very difficult to summarize it and make it to the point and show the right information. That was, it was like Blaise Pascal in the past who would say, he would send a letter with a lot of information into it. And he would say, he would start with an "I'm sorry," I didn't have the time to make a summary of it.
Yes.
And he would know that this information was it was just too complicated to analyze or to digest.
I agree. This is the most complicated part of building dashboards. To visualize the data, we make it quite easy, but how to bring the data together and how the structure is on the dashboard, what context is shown at the same time, is the most fascinating task and probably the most hardest.
Yeah, so why not use something simple that can be adopted easily and improve the quality of those reports? So I want to introduce you to a different approach, which is called the International Business Communication Standards for better understanding and decision making. So maybe you never saw this logo, but here it is. This is a small icon. And here we can see an overview of about the top 10 of the IBCS. I won't go into detail because it would be too much time. So I reduced it to 3 points, which you can keep in mind and apply directly. So perhaps you can change something today. Yeah.
Oh, you used a picture of Rolf in your presentation? Oh, well, this is the guy I was talking about at the beginning when I mentioned Edward Tufte and Stephen Few. This is Rolf Hiechert. Meanwhile, he's retired and he's not doing active business anymore. But I met him 2009, and more or less I was completely brainwashed by his ideas, which is Stephanie presenting now for the 3 most important ideas. So I quit my job and founded Graphomate, and that was 12 years ago, yes. He's an engineer again, and he's very proud about it. No economic guy, no business guy. He's really an engineer, yeah. Most of the engineers, most of the people in data visualization, or many people in data visualization, came from the engineering part of academics. Steffi, yes,
Yeah.
great. I like him.
Yeah, it was really good connection to the next slide I want to share with a quote of Rolf Hiechert. And if you want to make business communication more effective, then things that mean the same have to look the same. That's important. That is the key, because usually we don't have a legend, we don't know what's this color for, and make it the same. That's also the point in geography when drawing maps. Make it the same if it means the same. So as Bruno already talked about, the music sheets, which can be understood by everybody in the world who knows how to read notes. And also engineers, they have their standards, like to draw specific stuff, like, I don't know, I'm not educated in those stuff, but I guess you get the point. Transistors, yeah.
Resistors and condensators, potentiometers. This is, by the way, a synthesizer I just saw. It's a virtual controlled oscillator schematic. Yeah, great.
Thanks for informing us.
I built this in my spare time.
Yeah, and then you get trainings and you see diagrams like this. This is from an Oracle course, and it's quite hard to understand, and you don't really know what it means. We have 2 axes and it's hard to compare, and yeah, we keep this visual in mind and come to it back later on and see how we can...
Usually I say this is probably the worst chart I've ever seen in my life, and it's incredible. You can talk about this chart for 20 minutes and say, how could anybody came to the idea to visualize data like this? It's really incredible, but we don't have the time. So we will see an alternative visualization later on. Thanks, Steffi. Sorry, I keep my mouth shut.
No problem. It's quite interesting, your little notes here and there, so it's nice to know. As I already mentioned, we have an overview about the top 10, but in general, it is very important to display the data as patterns and therefore use charts instead of tables, because we humans like to see patterns and we can detect everything that doesn't fit in quite easy and quick. So therefore, instead of using a table which looks like this, use instead charts. And you see how easily it comes to your mind. Then you can see trends and if there's a decline in your values or not, and you compare them because they have the same scale. So you see how the performance differentiates between regions. So it's quite good to see.
And it's that simple, line charts. You know, there's nothing
Yeah.
special in it. Yeah.
But it's easier to understand. I know there are some people around who can easily spot numbers and values in a table, but most of us not. So be friendly and show things like this in charts. And there's one simple rule: if you use horizontal direction, it's more for the time. It's for the time. And if you have structure like regions or countries, use the vertical orientation. It's quite simple, but it gets confused a lot of time.
So when you use horizontal axes, you could show trends very well, and if you use vertical axes, you can compare things like, as you said, regions, salesmen, or stuff like that. Yes, it makes it much easier.
Yeah, and it's also a good idea to show the variances in absolute or percentage values, because most of people who decide how to navigate the business think in terms of deviations, like is it good or bad, and show it with a corresponding color, like green has a good impact to your company and red a negative impact to your goals. So it's quite easy, and just add it on top. And
Last
we
but
can
not least. Nothing, it's fine, thanks.
And we can standardize even the format of the chart elements, like actual values in solid colors, and the planned values are outlined like this. And for the forecast, we used the hedge pattern, which looks like this. And if you put it on a chart, it's becoming this visual, and you can easily see if you go over your planned budget or if you're still under it. Just quite easy. So if you make a makeover with the Graphomate charts, for example, it's quite easy, and the chart looks something like this. We get more data and can easily say, okay, here's a difference, and spot on. Also, we added the previous year, so you have always a third information.
And tell me, to do these charts with Graphomate, how long is it?
We will show this later on in a live demo.
Thank you.
So in Webby, that was the reason. So we'd like to present the theory behind, and then Steffi will do.
Yeah, and as we already talked about charts, there's also a way to display data in tables, and I just want to give you a short overview. Here we have Graphomate Matrix as a successor of the Graphomate tables, but in general the same functionalities, and we pick up the scenarios for like actual values and the forecast values, and already display the deviations. And here are some more notes, but I want to show you this in a demonstration. And last, you want to say something about this dashboard?
I just to say, let me 2 words about the tables and the matrix, because we said use charts and then you see a table from us. I think there will be tables in dashboards every time, always, and it's good, and they have their place. But we like to augment the tables with some visuals to make them more readable, and even more, please use tables when you came to detailed data. So always think about navigational paths. Hopefully you agree, Bruno, starting from an overview and click on elements, objects, and go deeper and deeper and deeper. I think this is very common, I know, but it's really hard work to extract how your users think and how they want to see their data, as they are not that familiar with multidimensional modeling and thinking. And this is hard to extract. May I say extract? To learn and to get the idea from them. Do you agree, Bruno?
Yes, I definitely agree with you. 100%.
Great. So this is an interesting dashboard from us because that's exactly what I was talking about. This is the overview page. It's our client Lufthansa Technik. They built this dashboard, I think 8 years ago in 2013, and it's used again and again and again, and they make a makeover, and it's built in SAC now, and they were really happy about it. They really called me on a Saturday afternoon that this was the first time that the business users are happy with the solution delivered by the IT. Incredible. And well, to be honest, I never had something like this after this, but it was fun. And again, that was the overview page, and the second page you see over now, it's the German. Sorry for that, but I couldn't translate it. It's the detailed view of a cost center report. And then again, pardon, there is the table. And it was funny because they say, as you already mentioned, Bruno, it's not only the visual which makes it special. They were able to how can I say, to summarize about 30 Excel files, which were sending from one to another around the organization. It's an organization with 22,000 people, and they were able to summarize this within this one page. So from 20 Excel files doing cost center reporting to one page, and that was the perfect way for them to work with these kind of dashboards, which is, by the way, built in Sublumira Designer. It's not Webby, but it could be very similar, also be built in Webby as a report and not as a interactive dashboard. Oh yeah, and the quote from this guy, he was the CFO in these days. You have no idea how many reports I have to find my way through, and they are all different. That's really, that was one of the rare times when I was able to talk to the CFO, and he said, I go in dozens of presentations every week, and every chart looks different, and that was gone. They also implemented a print and an export functionality to PowerPoint of these charts. So after they did the filtering and the navigation, they were able to use these charts also in their PowerPoint files, which is not common, I must say, because they programmed a lot for this solution.
So Lars, as you already met a lot of people in your career, are there other companies who use something like a notation standard for their company?
Oh yes, yes. Lufthansa Technik definitely used the notation guide. So, but you know, there were most of our clients use a notation guide. But to be honest, some notation guides are just 2 PowerPoint slides. Like I said, please use outlined elements for budget data, use hatched elements for forecasted data, and use black or whatever color you have as your most important color in your company for actual data. And that's it. It's very easy sometimes. But on the other side, there are clients like, I think I'm not allowed to mention them, but I do it, Red Bull, and they have a notation guide I have seen for about 40 pages. They are extremely detailed, and even if they use a pin chart or a needle chart, the pin has different styles for different versions. Like they have for percentage value a special pin. They have for the head count a special pin chart. Even if there is a pin with red and blue for women, and so you can do lots of things, but please use it wisely and start small.
And I agree. And just as a reminder, we got like 11 minutes left. So
we are more or less
will be cut off,
done.
So.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to switch to the live demo. Yeah, and perhaps in the comments, let us know if you already use something like a company-wide notation. Perhaps it's just small, but it would be very interesting to know if the Americans really like something like this, or is it completely a new subject to you? because in the German and Swiss and Austria it's quite known. So it would be nice to know how the situation is overseas. Okay,
I'm rather familiar with this concept, but I'm not sure if it's as known in the US.
Probably not.
So
session expired.
that's not a problem. So I'm going to move on to the Webby, as everybody's known. And what I really liked about the first session is that shared elements are going to come back, because you can use our extension as a shared element and can you reuse everything and don't have to do the work every time again. So I'm just looking at another screen, don't be confused. So I prepared a demonstration. And here we start just with an overview of the Graphomate charts. And as already mentioned, we have here the planned and the actual data just shown in solid and outlined. And I try to make it a little bit bigger so you can see more. So yeah, and next to it we have the bubbles, which are really nice to show some portfolios and how everything is located to make better decisions. And you also can use conditional formatting to highlight some values which need to be highlighted. Like for instance, we have profit which is negative, so we have more cost than we make with our sales. So it is
and
quite
again, you
nice.
see, we use the part to whole thing. So this is the net value, the gross sales is the area of the circle, and the gray part is the profit. So this is quite easy to read and not several wedges. So it's just one wedge and that's enough. And this is meaningful, I think.
Yeah. And after your audience opens this report, you can also show the data in detail, as we mentioned in the tables. And here you can see we also make use of small pies, more like a traffic light. So for instance, like in the office supplies, the clients are really good. They have a high number and you can display it up front and so you know spot on where to look at. And it's quite easy to see. And
Steffi,
also,
this is a live Webby report, isn't it? You're in Webby, so just.
Yeah, I'm in Webby.
Okay,
I
so
thought everybody knows it. I can show it. It's really in Webby. Here you have to pay it for formatting and the outline. So yes, I just wanted to show the whole picture because it's easier to see.
Okay.
So
it's live. That's not a screenshot or stuff like that. Yes.
No, that's already Webby. And also very interesting are waterfall statements for profit and loss statements, which show you how everything comes in and flows out. And also one specialty with our Graphimate charts, when you're using the deviations, it also comes like, oh, that was quite big. Like we have positive deviations, but they are in red because it's not good for the totals. So therefore,
for the company goal.
Yeah,
for the
company
business.
goal.
Yes.
And
So,
this is every financial accountant loves this, because it's not green doesn't mean it's a positive value. It means it's good for your target, and red is bad for your target. So it's not always on the right side or the left side. And yes, we call them controller. I think that's not the normal definition you call them. But the financial guys and girls like that very much.
yeah. And
I think you should go to the demo and how to build something. Yes.
So let me show you just how easy it is to insert a Graphimate extensions. You just go over here to insert. You need to save it on your server and connect it with a custom URL, and then you can use a custom element. And you have 3 possibilities. I'm going to take the charts. I need to insert them. And then I'm going to move over here. I have some data, and then I can just connect the data. So you have some fields, and I'm just going to take the regions for the category, and just to make it very simple, the profit. So now we need to make the adjustments, and therefore we need to go to the format. And here is this where the magic happens. You need to open the drop down, and then all of our properties can be set over here. First of all, it's a structure. Therefore, we need to change the orientation, and I need to click apply, and everything is rotated. So let's move on.
So do you see the different chart times once that we could see them there? We only were able to use the possibilities Webby allows us for the UI. So it's a bit more complicated than in other tools. In the other tools, we have a different UI, which is only clickable, which is much more easier and visually. So we were not allowed to do this in Webby. So it's just a drop down box.
We got like 3 minutes left. Lars, Stephanie?
Yes,
Yeah.
she will make the chart in 3 minutes.
Yeah, but I got a small problem. Let's use the other chart over
So
here.
while Stephanie's looking for that, Lars, if somebody's interested in Graphomate, what should he do?
Or just get in touch with us, and we will explain how to work with our charts and tables and metrics in Webby or in every other tool. And then we will see how it will fit to them, or if it's usable and an idea to use.
Thank you.
Yeah. So just, I think you could give us, from America, it's better to write an email, just simply to info@graphomate.com, or
And all that, by the way, is in the virtual booth. So you can get all that information there.
Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you. There's this booth. Yes. I remember.
Yeah, as you see, I just assigned a few scenarios to display the data in the right color. You also can use your custom colors if you want to have a company identity. So it's quite easy to switch up. And so you build on step by step, and with the shared elements coming out, you can reuse everything and don't have to start from scratch every time. And the great thing is you can also export all the reports and print them, and you will get the same IBCS look and feel. So it's quite nice.
Could you switch the axis once more for this chart?
Yep, for sure.
And could you show the deviations, because it's
yeah, general. Let's move this on.
So this is.
So therefore we need
another FC value. Yes, we need to show the difference between actual. No, you showed quantity and profit. That should be different.
Sorry. So this one over here. So deviations, and do insert.
Absolute one. Oh, it's only a small deviation. Okay.
No big difference, but it's over there, and then you can also type in the deviations for percentage, and yeah, make as many as you like. It's quite nice to have.
So this is done out of the box. Even the waterfalls you see before, it's quite easy to build without any programming or stuff like that. And well, yeah, so we are running out of time. We could show more. Sorry for that.
Now we got 1 more minute. So
okay. Yeah.
Anything more important?
Yeah, I guess when there's a lot of properties you can use, you can style a lot of stuff, but it's very important to keep in mind, like, do vertical alignment for structure and the horizontal for time, and then show the deviations also here in the bubbles, and then you're really good to go to improve your standards for your visual communication. So, and we can support you with a technical implementation. So if you want to try out, feel free to contact us. Yeah, we will.
Yeah, we have a 3 months free trial. So this is quite important. So if you want to try it out, and we will support you. It's not just give us a hint and write to us.
And it's very easy to install. I've actually used it, and frankly, I love it. I'm a big fan of it. So yeah, feel free to go on graphomate.com, and then you'll be able to reach out to the Graphomate team, and you'll be able to go from there in order to download or to get a demo.
Yeah.
Lars,
However,
Stephanie,
thank you
it
very
was
much.
a real pleasure to have you on today. And folks, it was great to have all of you today. Over 500 people have joined this session. This is great. And make sure you visit wiiisdom.com. So Wiiisdom with 3 eyes. So not 1 eye, but 3 eyes. And it was really great to be with all of you. If you want to have the presentations again, you can visit our virtual booth, or you want to get some more information, just send us an email at santa@wiiisdom.com. Actually, I'm just kidding. Just go to contact@wiiisdom.com and we'll get back to you. Visit our website as well. And guys, be good, stay cool, and we'll be very happy to see you next month during our virtual 360 Suite Wiiisdom user group. Thank you very much and have a great evening. Take care, guys.
Yeah, have a good
Bye.
time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ciao,
Ciao.
Bruno. Ciao, ciao.